Here it is. Alive, going to be our purple Terran, spawning in the top middle. Directly opposite him in the bottom middle, we have our red Terran Slayers, Ryung, who is currently down 0-1.
Yep.
After an interesting first game.
Certainly.
And I'm very curious to see which styles both of these players go with. It's awesome. The Koreans have a multitude of TVT styles. They have that Marauder tank style with Marines. It's like a Marine Marauder tank, heavy on the Marauders. They have the mech style that we've seen so much in the foreign scene, and then they have the straight Marine tank style.
And, you know, I've even seen, we can even go back to Pult a little bit. Pult has actually been employing just pure bio, MMM, to pretty good success as well. When he decides he does want to go into macro mode, he's just been massing MMM and doing pesky drops and things like that, and it's been working. So, like you said, right now, as far as mirror matchups go, this is by far the most dynamic matchup.
Oh,
so,
TVT's always been the best, I feel. The other mirror matchups just really lacking in diversity. It's almost like there's just a few things. I really wish I knew what they were saying in all these games.
I know.
There's been a lot of chatter.
Apparently, Gus.
There's been a lot of chatter in the last.
Did you know these guys
sets.
are friendly, playing on their home server and things like that, so they don't have to worry about lag issues, and it's a lot more comfortable for them. So, both players going guess first, and Barracks following after that. Very interesting to note, though. So, despite the fact that we are cross positions on Terminus, neither player going after a gasless FE. It looks like it's going to come behind either those Blue Flame Hellions or those Banshees.
On Terminus, we almost always see Banshees.
There's so much dead airspace.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Your Banshees just have free reign. There's so much space around the main base, and you know, Banshee's just a great opener on this map. So
it really is.
You know, we might see that from these guys. A lot of times we'll even see Banshees, you know, pass each other going across the midfield on Terminus. I've seen that a few times. So we'll have to see.
And look at that. Factories coming up at the same time. Only Mr. Alive, TSL Alive, is putting up his second refinery first.
Interesting. So second refinery first signifies to me that he's gonna be going after quick Banshees potentially here, or
Could
very
be
quick Blue Flame
variety,
of the cloaked variety as
yes,
well.
Indeed. Anyway,
I love it, man. No, that was a good one. That was a good one.
No. So here we go.
It takes two to tango, Kevin.
Okay, I'm gonna give big
So
shout out
bad.
to I'll give a big shout out to my friend Eric Doa in Korea. It was awesome. He and Wolf were casting, and there was a bunch of mutas that flew over. That they had +1 air carapace as well. They flew over a bunch of Marines. They got killed. Wolf made a comment about +1 not being enough, and Doa looked over and said, "No, it takes +2 to tango." I lost it. I seriously lost it. That was so funny.
That's such a Doa quote too.
It is.
I mean, like his
I
delivery
love his
on
sense
it.
of humor too.
His
I really
delivery
do.
on it is what made it funny.
All right.
I could not make that funny. Sorry, could not do it. Banshees of the cloaked variety, possibly.
Definitely for TSL Live. For Ryung, it looks more like
He's gonna get a singular Banshee.
He's
gonna get a singular Banshee without cloak.
Yeah, it looks like he's going for possibly a Hellion Marine Banshee attack, because he is only on that one gas. He could expand out of this.
I think
if
he will.
Decides he just wants to poke with the one Banshee or something.
I think
like
both
that.
players will expand out of this.
Yeah, a little more resources invested for TSL Alive though.
But you know, the beauty of this from Ryung is that he's already got that port with the tech lab. So a Raven is he's already got the port with the tech lab. A Raven is no biggie for him. He just needs to save up the gas to get that.
And he is expanding out of this, so if both these players end up doing economic damage, Ryung's going to be in a lot better position.
Absolutely. Also, if Ryung just gets a Viking and a Raven after this Banshee, he is going to be sitting so pretty in this game.
Yeah, certainly. And
there's the Viking.
And look at this though, Alive actually only now doing his scouting, so he's going to take the long path all the way over to the right just to make sure that this position is here before he heads to the 6 o'clock position, depending on what he's seen. And indeed, it looks like he is, so it's going to be a little bit longer for Ryung to get his infrastructure in position. He does have an engineering bay just finishing, so he may even have a missile turret as this Banshee shows up.
Yep, Ryung's also going to get in there into Alive's main and start harassing with the Banshee of his own. A few SCV kills going to go down right here. He's going to micro his little heart out.
Yes, and this little token group of Marines is not really going to provide that much.
It's not.
Oh, wow. That Banshee already has 6 kills. Do we have any turrets coming up? We do, and the Viking is
beautiful.
starting to do its work. He almost has the turret finished, and he does.
He's going to get it.
Oh, my
huge.
God.
Huge. This is huge.
And
that could be game.
on a second base. And Ryung's on a second base.
Oh, beautiful. He saves it.
11 kill Banshee to a 6 kill Banshee.
With no cloak
exactly what I was just about to say. And Ryung has his second base up. This is actually a super bad position.
40 to 28 supply right now.
Yep.
Yeah, Alive is in serious trouble here, folks.
And it looks like we're going back into that Raven
Alive eking out some kills.
Yeah, he made a second Banshee.
But, I mean...
There is a missile turret, and the Viking's going to come back.
And a Raven's about to be out as well.
Yep. So there we go. He does get himself...
Oh, wow.
He's going to get himself 4. He knows this Banshee is... No, he shouldn't, actually. He should just run away with it. He's now the Raven's caught up. All right. Okay. Sure. Blue Flame Valiant coming up for both players now. But Alive is looking like he's going to set up for a big one-base push because, I mean, how can he possibly justify committing to an expansion right now? He would have to play the most defensive style I've ever seen.
Yeah, and that's going to be very, very difficult for him
certainly.
To hold this eventual push that will come from Ryung. I mean, Ryung has to know that he's way ahead right now.
Yeah.
You know, he did a brilliant job holding that off, and he did a lot of damage. So Alive going to have to commit heavily to SCVs here, and he's really got to get a second command center, or he's just going to get left in the dust.
Did that Banshee end up running to for?
I don't know.
TSL Alive. I'm not actually sure. Don't see it.
There it is.
Okay, it did come back home. All right. 5 kill Banshee. He came back home. I do have a command center coming down, and it looks like Alive is just going to mass Blue Flame Hellions for a good period of time. So that's going to be his way of making his way back into it. But by that time, I mean, Ryung, well, he's driving down 4 mules at a time. He's already got double Hellion production going. He's about to make another factory so he can switch that on there and start tank production. He's going to be fine.
And I'm about to sneeze again.
That's quite all right. Gesundheit. And here we go.
Ooh,
like
is that
factory coming
wow?
up.
Going to 3 factory, actually, quite a bit faster than we see from Ryung.
Yeah, well, Ryung has a little bit of flexibility at the moment. I mean, let's take a look at the economy. Yeah, he's mining at about twice the rate of his opponent. It's pretty good. He's up by 8 workers, and he's double producing SCVs. Well, could be, I guess, if he was actually making an SCV.
Interesting. Yeah, he hasn't been staying on top of that SCV production at all.
And it's coming up now, but I guess he was more worried about getting his tech in place. Siege tanks are already on the way, and it's going to put a pretty good stop to the Blue Front Hellions that are making their way out.
Mm-hmm.
And now we finally have the next command center coming down for TSL Alive, but that is really, really late.
Oh, wow. And the quick third. So Ryung not going to try and clinch this one out with that early advantage, just going to run with it. You do have 2 options. Yeah, you can either run with it or you can run to them with it, I guess. Try and just bring it to them and end the game.
A lot of people love to quote, Artosis's, if you're ahead, get more ahead. But there are times when you can say, just go kill your opponent.
And there have even been times where I feel Artosis has said in games, that, he's ahead, he should sit back, he should macro, he should take a third. No, that's not always what you want to do. More often than not, it is. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I definitely wouldn't call it a rule or anything like that. It goes with the feel of the game, and it's based on your pre-existing advantage.
Yeah, certainly. Because especially in this situation, I love what Ryung is doing. He's moving out now. He's got 3 Vikings, a Banshee, a Raven, and 4 Blue Flame
Oh, God, he's going to do
Hellions.
so much damage here.
He really is.
I feel like he's going to do a ton of damage here.
It looks like that Barracks that was put forward a little bit is aware of this. And, oh my God, Alive was actually trying to double expand himself, so he has almost nothing at home. He certainly doesn't have anything to stop the...
I wonder why he pulled out with all of his Air Force there. That doesn't make any sense to me. He could have dropped 4 auto turrets. He would have had the Banshee.
He would have killed the missile turret before he was
absolutely.
able. He could have landed Vikings with that as well.
Yeah.
And there were no... look at this. I mean, there's still... Let's take a look at the units tab. Looks like that there's a couple of Vikings flying around.
Absolutely nothing.
That's it. Wow, okay, interesting. And all those Hellions were out of position.
See, this is one of those situations where it's almost counterproductive not to kill your opponent, because you're just allowing them a chance to crawl back in.
I think I see part of why he came back. I apologize. It looks like we may have missed a little bit of a Viking harass. It looks like he tried to come in and land, and landed some Vikings, and that's why he pulled back his Air Force, because he didn't want to have to mess with it. But God, that's a lot of Vikings.
I mean, he just has such a superior army at this point. Look at the supplies, 118 to 67. But, you know, we've seen this from Ryung. We also saw it in the game against Czech. Super far ahead and just continued to get farther and farther and farther and farther and farther ahead.
Fourth base coming up now for him as well. So that is...
I feel like really lacks that Jelizerg killer instinct. Jelizerg does not mess around in situations like this, man.
He had it against Zerg players. We saw him when he was against Czech. We saw him when he was against ZDO. He knew, I mean, he had a pretty good idea of when to move in, but he plays a lot more cautious TVT style. I mean, we even saw it in game number 1 against Alive, where it looked like he had a much better force and could have outright killed his opponent, but let his opponent backstab him, and then was really indecisive in the middle of the map.
So TVT highlighting a little bit of a flaw in Ryung's overall game, I think, that we've seen so far.
Yeah.
But either way, it's still super solid, and I still think he's doing a great job in this game. Moving into a beautiful position here. Gonna win the air war. The PDD has expired. The Raven will go down, and now that he has air control over this position, it's going to be so difficult for Alive to make anything happen.
Yeah, this is actually...
Banshee free reign.
Yeah. Oh,
God,
he's gotta
bad
watch out.
positioning.
Yeah, he had to move his Vikings in a little bit better position there. Unfortunately, did not do that.
Oh, he's going for it.
Pull back to those PDDs, but yes, he is moving up. He's got a few Hellions that are sitting here in the back as well that he could run around whenever he does distract some units. At least that was the Banshee shot, was to take out those siege tanks, so all of his units could have run out. Excuse me. But doesn't have as much of a luxury of that anymore. Probably just needs to make one big push up the middle and win the game.
Yeah, it's going to be a little difficult here because he's wasted a lot of precious time and those tanks are sieging in position. But, I mean, he just has so much more than Alive. 154 supply to 100 right now.
Yep.
Maybe he's just waiting for his opportunity. Maybe we haven't seen it.
Base. He's adding Thors into the mix now. So, all right.
He could also maybe just want to absolutely crush him here and show him, you know, how powerful he is before the next game.
And looks like he's going to make his way in. The Vikings are going to land right on top of the siege tanks. We're going to have landed Vikings versus landed Vikings. Used to be an uncommon occurrence, but more and more in TVT we see it more often. And he's going to be able to provide himself air cover. There's a few blue flank Hellions. Oh, wow, actually really nice control there by Ryung. Ran that back around so that his siege tanks would start firing on the blue flank Hellions that were coming out. Looks like Alive is going to move himself onto the low ground a little bit. A few of those units are in range. Scan comes down from Ryung, but so many SCVs are already falling. And there it is, the GG.
There's the GG. So Ryung bringing it back, going to tie the series up 1-1. And we are going to go to our rubber match in this best-of-3 series in the finals of our IPL 3 qualifier number 2.
Indeed. We'll be back in just a second.